Hey, it's Fuzzy Pickle here. If you like my videos, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and hit the notification button, bell, whatever. I love you, Tina. This is Amber Reed. She's friends with Foodie Beauty. So, how long? Okay, before we even start, I already know we're going to be playing this quick. Okay, so here is Amber Reed.
Hey guys, so here's a vulnerable video for you. I feel like I'm standing nude in front of you guys right now because this is like my true.
Oh, please spare me. Spare me, people.
Inner feelings. So I just want to start off by saying that I have been on Instagram for days now, maybe over a week, just like super obsessed with interacting with you guys, answering your guys' questions, and it's been real fun for me.
Oh, please, no more questions. Because she doesn't answer them truthfully. She lies about 90% of her. I don't know why she lies. Answered. Okay, just don't ask her any questions.
And I happen to share a poem on there. And, I get majority of people saying, wow, you're a really good writer, which feels really good. But then the minute I get one mean thing about my poetry, I'm just like, all the good stuff kind of goes away. So I've been writing poetry since 6th grade.
And that's her whole life. You can build this bitch up to the top, to the hilt. Oh, she's glowing. As soon as one person says something she does not like, everything goes downhill. Everything's like, ugh. Yeah, she does that. She thrives on negative attention. Why some people do that, I don't know.
And I know a lot of like my really old stuff has turned up on the internet. I'm talking things that I wrote when I was 17. You have to realize that was 13 years ago. I am a completely different writer now than I was then. People blossom, people change, whether they get better or they get worse. Like, it is what it is. Poetry for me is a really good outlet, and I love writing poetry, whether I'm good or whether I'm bad. And I just think 100 people can read the exact same poem.
I love singing, but I'm pretty bad at it.
And there are going to be people in there who absolutely hate it and despise it, and there are also going to be people in there who love it and resonate with it. I think the most beautiful thing about poetry is that you can read it and think of something that the author didn't even really present. And that's happened to me several times. And that's kind of what happened with the poem that I put on Instagram. A lot of people were messaging me.
Like I said, I love singing. And my kids, when they were little, before they realized that I couldn't sing, loved it. Now people hate it. My husband told me when I was singing that he was going to puke, so I sang a little louder because I wanted to see him puke.
Saying, oh, I know what this is about, blah, blah, blah. So I do want to explain that a little bit, and I'm also going to read the poem, which I'm nervous about. So when I'm writing poetry, it is mainly just like a way for me to journal. It's
Miss Thing's debut. Oh, here we go.
just the best way for me to express myself and how I'm feeling. I never sit there with the thought process of, okay, I'm gonna write a poem. Let's make it sound good. Let's have it flow the right way. I more so just let my fingertips talk, and that's usually what works best for me. And, I'll proofread it and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, I leave it how I did it. My rough draft is always my final draft, mainly because my poetry is strictly, okay, well, that's how I was feeling in the moment. So I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what a lot of people thought it was about and kind of going to explain it a little bit so you guys can maybe understand a little bit better. I'm like really nervous. But I do want to say that what I writ this poem about, if you think of it
me.
Something different and it resonates with you in a different way, don't let me change that, because I love poetry in the sense that I love that I can read a poem from someone and it hits home somewhere completely
She can write a damn poem, but she can't stick to a friggin' diet.
different than what the author intended. So let's get into it. Okay, so this poem is called I'm Fine. Loneliness was her autobiography. She sat in her room and counted the cracks in the ceiling. Her mind was the destination she tried to run away from. She forgot how it felt to laugh with other people, beg her to smile, and her face would crack. She hid mascara-stained pillowcases and novels full of self-hatred. Ask her how she's doing, and she'd lie and say, I'm fine. Ask her how
She's got mascara-stained pillowcases while Amber washed your makeup off.
doing, and she'd lie. Ask her how she's doing. Ask me how I'm doing. I'm so tired of being this lonely. I'm so terrified that this is it for me, that these tears are all it'll ever be. I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I have lost the best of me. I'd lie and say I'm fine. So that is the poem, and I feel like I needed to put emphasis on some of it because I feel like emphasis makes it maybe understood a little bit better. So the reason why I'm making this.
It's amazing how she can just roll her poem right off her tongue without a mistake, without pronouncing anything wrong. Emphasize this. Stop acting so damn stupid.
Is because I can't even tell you how many messages I got where people are like, I know this is about Becky. I know they broke up. I know Amberlynn's unhappy with her. And just all this really
No, this is about Amberlynn Reid, or Amber Reid. It's all about her feelings, because she can give two shits about how anybody else is feeling. So, it's her feelings, unless she's imitating, copying somebody else. I don't know.
true stuff. And so it's like, it goes in a rumor mill and then everyone, starts to believe it and all that. So I kind of just want to explain what I meant and I guess where my thought process was at the time of making this poem. So when I said loneliness was her autobiography, that's pretty much self-explanatory. I feel lonely a lot of the time, and you could be in a room.
Now she's just getting damn cocky. She's pissing me off.
Full of a million people who absolutely adore you and you can still feel lonely. Has nothing to do with your relationship or your friendships or anything around you. Absolutely not. So next line is she sat in a room and counted the cracks in the ceiling. When I wrote that, I remember I was in such a depressive state that I never wanted to leave my bed. I didn't want to do
I told you this poem was all about her.
anything. And it almost seemed like it was a metaphor for like, I pretty much have this room memorized through and through, that I can count the cracks on the ceiling and tell you how many there are. So that's what I meant by that. Her mind was the destination she tried to run away from. So a lot of people also commented on that line saying it didn't make sense. Poetry from Amberlynn Reid doesn't have to make sense, honestly, but in my head it does. Because when I'm depressed, I feel like my mind has a one-track mind. It wants to just bury me alive almost, and I feel like that's its destination. Its destination is to make me feel...
Her mind has a one-track mind. So does it go two ways?
horrible, and to make me feel worthless and lonely and like just horrible. So that destination is an area that I want to run away from. I don't ever want to arrive at that destination, but there are times that I do. Next line is she forgot how it felt to laugh with other people, beg her to smile, and her face would crack. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. There are a lot of times when
I swear to God, if she says one more friggin' time, it's pretty well self-explanatory, I'm going to scream, and you're going to hear me scream.
Going through these episodes where I don't laugh. Everyone around me could just be having the time of their lives, and it's almost like I'm completely checked out. Beg her to smile, and her face would crack. I am so used to not smiling, and so used to just being so sad that it's almost like I'm a statue in that sense. So if I was to smile, my face would crack. I write in a lot of metaphors. That's something that Becky pointed out to me, and I never even noticed. Metaphors is just, I don't know. I just like them the best. She hid mascara-stained pillowcases and novels full of self-hatred. So what I meant by that is, it's obvious. I used to wear makeup all the time, and I don't wear waterproof mascara. So every time I cry, you'd see those.
What did I tell you? Wash your makeup off. She didn't say the magic word though, so I can't scream yet.
I was like ugly crying. You'd see that mascara, obviously, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten mascara on my pillows from crying myself to sleep. And novels full of self-hatred, that's pretty much just talking about, because I do journal a lot, that's just talking about, when I journal about how much I hate myself or I hate my life, or when I make poetry about how much I hate myself or I hate my life, that's what that meant. And then the whole part where it's like, ask her how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine, ask her how she's doing and she'd lie, ask her how she's doing, ask me how I'm doing. So what I meant by all those lines is like, a lot of the times I say I'm fine, or I say I'm doing okay. I never just flat out tell people, oh, I'm not doing good, because I don't want them to ask what's wrong, because I personally don't want to talk about it. It's like one of those things where it's like, you want people to be there for you, but then
don't act miserable around. Don't act miserable around other people if you don't want to talk about your misery. sit there and lie about you're fine. That's what gets people in trouble, when you sit there and say you're fine. So she's just building this up. I don't know about her. I really don't. Hey, I don't have lines when I do this. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Amber, this poem was all about you. Sorry about the hand, guys.
You also don't want to talk about it, so it's like this vicious cycle. So I wanted to put emphasis on ask her how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. And then when I said ask her how she's doing, it was my way of saying, why can't more people truly ask how someone is doing? Because I feel like when a lot of people ask, hey, how are you doing? It's really just small talk. People don't really ask how someone's doing and really, truly want to know. It's just one of those things. And I'm not the only one who feels that way. And then I switched it to ask me how I'm doing. And the whole part, the whole big paragraph.
Okay, how did we all get dragged into this? I'm not the only one that feels this way. She didn't ask me. Did she ask you, Lynn? She didn't ask me.
Which is in italic font. I'm so tired of being this lonely. I'm so terrified that this is it for me, that these tears are all it'll ever be. I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I've lost the best of me. So that is what sometimes I really want to say out loud. I just want to word vomit. But then the last line, I'd lie and say I'm fine. Because that's just realistically how it is. I have all these inner demons and inner thoughts, and just it's just a lot going up, going on up here in my heart and stuff. But yeah.
Yes, but when you write a poem, Amber, you don't explain it out loud. Because it could be somebody else that also, would you say, might feel the same way? Not just her. I don't know. When you write a poem, it belongs to everybody. It just does not belong to you. Get it together, Amber.
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. So the part where people are like, okay, this is about Becky. The lines, I'm beginning to think that you don't want to hold me. I don't want this to be the death of me, for I have lost the best of me. So definitely not. Definitely not about Becky in the way that you guys think. So when I am depressed or when I'm feeling super down, lonely, I think that everyone in my life hates me. And it's just a thought. It's not real. I know it's not real. And I have to remind myself all the time that it's not real. And if Becky was to ask me, how are you doing? And it was during a time where this is how I felt, lonely and down and horrible, that is what I would want to say. I'd want to say, I feel like you don't love me. You don't want to hold me. This is the death of me and I've lost the best of me. That isn't me talking. That's the depression talking. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that.
She keeps saying the same friggin' line over. I'm going to scream. She has to, when you write a poem, I don't care who you are. When you write a poem, it belongs to everybody. Not just the person that wrote the poem. Okay? And she doesn't need to explain it. Why is she explaining the friggin' poem? It's self-explanatory.
And when I say for I've lost the best of me, it means that depression has completely taken over. And I just feel like I'm not even myself anymore, because that's not who I am. I'm not Amberlynn, the depressed girl or whatever. Like, that's just not how it is. Like, I just happen to have depression. And I know a lot of you also have it. And I feel like that's where we relate very well. So I hope that made sense to some of you. It's definitely, none of this is because of Becky. I think that's very strange that you guys would think that I just have my own problems, whether I'm with Becky or someone else or single, it doesn't even matter. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to explain that. And again, it's not like the best poem in the world. It's just how I was feeling at the time. And I wanted to share it with you guys.
Now, she just said this channel is not all about, she doesn't want to talk about herself all the time on her channel. It's her channel. Of course you're going to talk about herself. But when you write a poem, girl, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you again. For people that are not listening to me, when you write a poem, it's for everybody. They can siphon it out the way they want to. It does not need to be explained.
Because a lot of you didn't understand on Instagram, didn't understand like how I was feeling and stuff. So I figured a poem would help with that. And I actually wrote this June 12th, 2019. So yeah, I write poetry all the time. It's just something I really love doing. And my poetry has gotten a lot better, in my opinion. I used to make really long poems, too long. And now I try to make poems that aren't so long. I even write poems that are like 2 sentences. Like this one is called Secret Love. You sat next to me today and I could smell the cherries that lived in your hair. You smiled at me without knowing that you were the reason I wore my favorite shirt. That's just, that to me, all you need is those 2 lines to know that you are in love with, either you can look at it as you're in love with your best friend or someone.
Oh my God, Amberlynn Reid is a professional poetry writer. Oh my goodness, she knows everything about it now. And we've missed out, Lyd. We've missed out on Amberlynn Reid's poetry.
Could look at it as you're infatuated with just a friend of yours or someone at your school. Like, it could literally mean anything. Or here's another two-liner. It's called Cursive. All my poems are the same loneliness written in a million different ways, which is so true. So, you know, years and years ago, I thought all my poems had to be super long, but I've realized that sometimes you ain't gotta do that. Like, here's another one. This is 3 lines. It's called Cheap Wine. You must love noise, playing with an innocent mind with your dirty hands and cheap wine. That says a lot, that you are horrible and you're taking advantage of someone. See, all you need is a few words and it could say a lot. So anyways, I'm rambling. I just wanted to kind of explain that. So anyways, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this video, and it's hard to see other people.
She knows she's gonna get a lot of hate videos, so everybody send her some hate videos because you don't want to disappoint her. Come on. How do you know Amber? You're a mind reader too? Oh my goodness. Lydia, she's a mind reader too.
Be attacked for things that they're passionate about, whether it be like a painting or, you know, a short film they made or whatever it is. And it is kind of hard for people to judge my feelings. That's like really weird, right? It's like a really weird way of thinking it because that's pretty much what's happening. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do want to hear a little bit more poetry from me, like really old stuff, and then see the difference between then and now, that could be really interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I don't want to see Alex is shook. How do you get out of this? There we go. That's good enough. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm sorry. It was just too little. Too much. Crazy. Okay. See you in the next jar.